Hi, my name is Aaliyah Fern, and welcome to Therapeutic Yoga. This video is a recording, part of a series that I'm offering to my community. We're going through our study of the Yoga Sutras in a way, but the yamas and the niyamas. There are other videos as well on the YouTube channel, my website, Facebook, all those different things. You can find those in the various forms of Bhakti Earth Yoga. So welcome today. This theme for the session is Santosha, or contentment. This is one of the second of the niyamas, and this is, obviously I'm holding my heart here. This is one of the ones that I connect to, and I feel like has been a really good guiding point for me in my practice, my learning of yoga, and kind of my journey through life. So I wanted to offer a few teachings with you today. I have a variety of different things I can go to. So I'll start with a quote from Yogi Amrit Desai. Contentment is the ability to tolerate and digest all the opposing experiences of duality with the equanimity of the ocean. And I'll just offer that one more time. Contentment is the ability to tolerate and digest all of the opposing experiences of duality with the equanimity of the ocean. And I thought that quote was really meaningful. I have, I guess, been on what feels like long journey of kind of exploring light and dark, the light sides of things and the dark sides of things, and things having shadow sides, and being okay with darkness where it's found, and light for the gift of that presence as well. Not something that I guess I feel entitled to, but noticing that that's just part of the overall experience of being in an embodied life this way, being human. I have a collection of different stones that I bring into my practice. This one is it's a fossilized coral, so it's got light and dark in it, as well as like some kind of bubbly patterns. I found this in a stone store in Bend, and it kind of, the label on it said that it helps resolve trauma and helps in the healing of trauma. Part of the work that I do both for myself and for my community. So I brought that in today as a reminder of everything having a light side and a dark side, or lightness and darkness kind of mixed into it. And allowing that to be part of the practice for contentment, that there is a way of moving through life that you can, I guess, allow for both things. That there is, what did it say? The duality, the experience of duality, that nothing is separate. And I think that just continues to be a good lesson for me, even into this week, this morning. So I'm just offering that here. Going back to the Yoga Sutra, we have also the message of Santosha Anutama, there it is. Santosha Anutama Sukha Labha, which means by contentment, supreme joy is gained. So that's really interesting to me, that that contentment can help be the place of joy. We would think that by allowing us to be in touch with ourselves, to be in touch with the darkness or shadow sides or duality, that it would be a not joyful place. But the teaching being that we have to have balance, I guess, and be okay with both in order to be in touch with our joy. The writing, the translation by Swami Satchidananda, this really adorable guy on the front of the book, says, as a result of contentment, one gains supreme joy. Here we should understand the difference between contentment and satisfaction. Contentment means just to be as we are, without going to outside things for our happiness. If something comes, we let it come. If not, it doesn't matter. Contentment means neither to like nor dislike. And I think that that too is, I guess, meaningful for me at this time. Lots of things in the world are changing. I'm noticing that people are being struggled, I guess, or challenged by their attachments to the way things have been, and that I'm noticing a shift, that things aren't going to stay the way that they were. They're not going to stay the way that they are now. I also believe that. And change is part of what's, I guess, the process that we're all moving through collectively on a global scale, and adjusting to that. So letting go of our attachments to what was, letting go of our attachments or our entitlements to the happiness the way that we used to find it, and being allowed to notice that even as we are, we can find contentment in the place that we have. So I want to just invite that message into the practice today, and bring into a mantra of Om Shanti Om, which means Om is the kind of the primordial sound. It's the sound that started it all, the vibration that set all things into being. And Shanti is peace. So Om Shanti Om. And I just created a little bit of a tune for it, I guess, is the way that my heart is feeling today. So I invite you to find a seat if you would like to. You might chant with me. I'll just repeat the kind of the little ditty, the tune that I have a few times, a few rounds, and allow it to be either a meditative place for you, maybe to start to tap into what it feels like to just be able to sit with that duality and find peace in the light and the dark. Allow yourself to settle into the breath, a tall posture. Here we go. Om Shanti Om, 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 Om Shanti Om. Om Shanti Om, 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 Om Shanti Om. Om Shanti Om, 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 Om Shanti Om. And just giving that good energy, a little bit of positive vibration from the sound bell to start and end. So if you like that, feel free to rewind it, do it again a few times, or just take that into yourself the way that it feels meaningful to you. And thanks for joining in whatever way you did. So getting into a little bit of breath and movement here. Scoot back a little bit into the camera. We're welcoming a deep breath in, maybe sweeping the hands out and up. Maybe lift up through the heart here, and exhaling just to sweep those hands back down. Taking a few rounds of breath like this, maybe 5 more breaths. Full inhales, lifting up through the heart, and exhaling, gently releasing it back down. So trying to initiate the breath first and the movement follows. When the breath is ready to turn, we pause, allow for the exhale to start to come. And follow it with the movement. Maybe taking 2 more rounds or so here. Lifting the gaze. Starting the exhale. Hands can gently flow back down. Take 1 more or so here. And exhaling when you're ready. Good. Inviting just a little bit of gentle twist side to side. So hands can come to the knees, and you can just kind of support that little twist with the hands if you'd like to, inviting twisting to the right with the in-breath. And the gaze comes around the shoulder. With the exhale, twisting to the left. Deep breath in to the right. Full exhale to the left. If you want hands to come to shoulders, you can also bring the twist in this way. Deep breath in to the right. Full exhale to the left. We'll do 1 more round. Deep breath in, right side. And exhaling, twisting to the left. Good. So we're just giving ourselves that little spinal warm-up, noticing that it's not, doesn't feel easy per se to use that twist just supporting with the core, but helps us to kind of find center, notice the back strength, the belly strength, and how we kind of pivot on our axis in response to life. No matter what comes at us, we have that strength on the deep inside to shift and adjust and come back to that centered place. So I'll invite from here, coming toward hands and knees. Starting first with a threading of the needle pose, if this feels okay to you. Always an option to cushion the knees as well with a little blanket if you want some more support that can come in. This pose can look a little bit different, so I'll offer some variations. From the hands and knees variation, you can take a deep breath in. I'll start with the left arm, twisting it up. The gaze can follow up toward the thumb of the ceiling. And then with the exhale, left hand comes behind the right hand. I'm going to just turn toward the side so I can keep talking to the camera. Left temple comes to ground, and the gaze is over, just kind of pointed there to the right side. So I'm taking the shoulder and the upper arm to the floor. Taking breath here. It's also a little bit of a spinal twist. Right hand can just stay in place. If you want a little more stretch into the shoulder, right hand can walk down the mat. So we'll just take a few more breaths here. Maybe taking a deep breath in for 4. Then exhaling. Deep breath in for 3. Full exhale. Deep breath in for 2. Full breath out. 1 more deep breath here, finding center. Then exhaling here. Good. You can press back up through the left, through the right hand, twist up 1 more time with the left arm, and gently set back down. And then taking the same shape here to the second side, roughly trying to match that first side. Deep breath in, right arm sweeps up. Full inhale. With the exhale, right hand comes behind the left hand. So we're threading the needle. Thread goes through the eye of the needle. This time, right temple to ground. Adjusting so you find whatever stretch feels good to you through the arm and the shoulder. Probably is different for everybody. And then taking this place restful for yourself. Left hand can extend if you want more stretch into the shoulder here. Your hand can just stay on the mat. And taking about 4 more breaths here. Inhaling for deep breath, number 4. And 4 exhale. Good. Deep breath in for 3. Full. in-breath, left hand presses again to the floor, right arm rises up. You can take the gaze high, twisting open. So we're getting that opening through the shoulder back up. And exhaling hand coming to ground. Good. So I'll show that same type of shape, but from a child's pose. So if you would like to, you can come to either the knees together, child's pose. You have to come back toward the heels, or you can open the knees a little bit wider if you like to. That just helps take a little bit more space or room for the belly. And then if you would like to, you can add in that thread the needle kind of arm. So we're using the floor to just brace that arm stretch. You can use the other hand as a pillow, either with a flat hand or a fist. Helping to moderate that stretch, you can also use a block or a cushion, a pillow, an actual pillow underneath the head here. So taking that deep breath into your shoulder. This is just a different way of finding that thread the needle pose. If you like that in your body, you're welcome to explore it. We're giving just a couple more breaths here on this side as well. And taking about one more breath or so as you choose. And full exhale. Bring it as you're ready to rise back up. Good. Releasing that right arm. You might even take that right arm in a big circle or stretch it back behind you, maybe taking it into another spinal twist. And gently setting right hand back down. When you're ready, left arm can come in for the thread the needle here. Turn so I can stay facing you. Left hand down and underneath the right hand. Left temple to the ground. Maybe you take a fist or a flat hand as a head support. Maybe you find cushion in a different way. Giving yourself some breath and good energy here. Coming back to that place of equanimity. Breath can be like the ocean. Gentle rise of that breath wave. That place where we can find equanimity, taking in the duality of life. Maybe giving it one more breath or so here on this side if you'd like. Coming back when you're ready to release, maybe left arm for a big circle, stretching that left hand behind you, sweeping it back, taking a little spinal twist. Good. And if either of those options works well for you, you can also get the same kind of benefits of the pose, or many of the same benefits of the pose, at least for the shoulder and the arm, just by taking a little bit of a hold, drawing the arm across the chest through sitting in a chair, sitting on the floor, even standing. You can give yourself these kinds of shapes. So just honoring whatever it is that you do find that is good for your body, giving it breath and giving it time. Good. Okay. From this place, offering a switch back toward hands and knees. And giving ourselves a little bit of a balance challenge today. If you would like to, we're going to work through our tabletop balance. So again, if you like the cushion or the comfort support of the knees, go ahead and find that blanket or towel, whatever feels right for you. A couple layers of yoga mat, lots of different ways to do that. We'll start by taking the left foot back behind. And if this doesn't feel right for you, you might just leave the toe on the ground. That's a way of kind of building some strength, working up to what it feels like to lift the leg off the floor. So toe grounded or leg high, you can choose. And then if it feels okay to you to add on a layer, we're going to work into opposite hand and leg. So my left leg is extended. And then maybe the right hand can start to release some of the weight or the strength. You can come up to fingertips here. On the right hand, if that feels okay, maybe we lift the right arm straight forward, pressing back through the back leg. If you want to drop those toes, you can, and just work on the arm strength support. If the wrists feel very tired, just taking a little bit more focus or energy into the fingers, reducing some of the stress on the wrists. Good, so finding your full depth, maybe taking a couple more breaths into your practice. One more inhale or so, you might rise it up just a little bit higher if you want to really apply the strength. Good, exhaling when you're ready, releasing it down. Good, we can take a little side-to-side movement in the low body here, helping to work out that stretch. That can be a lot of strength to hold in those big muscles, so we're giving ourselves a chance to chill those out just a little bit. And then as you feel ready, we can take that same practice to the other side. So this time my right leg can either come to the toe or straight back behind, choosing where you want to go with that. Starting just by noticing you have now 3 legs to your table pose, maybe 3.5. Noticing that the weight is centered among the 3. The fingers are engaged, the knuckles of the fingers are able to press down and reduce some of the stress on the wrists here. If you would like to practice that balance challenge, you might shift the weight, some of the weight out of the left hand, maybe just fingertips come down toward the floor. If you would like to try to raise it up, you might take that left hand high with the right leg. Good, so arm and leg in our extension of the spine, reaching through the crown of the head, keeping it nice and long here. And then just taking one breath at a time. You can take breaks, come back into the shape if you can't or don't want to do it all at once. Good, nice deep breath. Maybe one more inhale here to rise just a little bit higher. And exhaling, hand and leg can set down. Good. A little bit of shift side to side in the body once again. Work out some of that strength, some of the, the pressure, the intensity. Hi. Inviting from here a little bit of downward facing dog. So if it feels okay to you, you can tuck the toes, place the hands nice and firm, rise up with the hips, maybe press the feet back toward the floor so that the heels can touch toward the ground. You can take the feet wider away from the body. If you've got more flexibility, you can walk those feet a little bit closer as well. So choosing where you feel comfortable. And if the downward dog doesn't work for you, you're welcome just to take that shape back into child's pose and take a little bit of a rest here. So, choosing what it is you need at this time. The benefit of the downward dog or kind of a deep child's pose is getting a little bit of an inversion. So blood flows back to the heart, lungs, and brain. Helpful, in my experience, for finding equanimity, staying balanced in contentment. And if it feels okay to you, you might walk the feet forward toward the hands. You can take little steps like so. If that's not accessible to you, either from child's pose or downward dog coming to the knees, you can take one step at a time, hand bracing on the knee, maybe tucking the toe to stand up a little bit more gently. We'll go ahead and meet in a forward fold. So different ways of finding forward fold can be hinging forward from the hips, allowing the whole upper body to be long. The weight of the head can help pull traction and stretch open the spine. If that's a little too much for you, that's okay. You can come to a ski pose, elbows to the knees, head can still be heavy and soft here. If it doesn't feel good to you to have the head below the heart, some people it doesn't feel safe, especially if there's high or low blood pressure in your body or your system, you can come to a halfway fold and just brace the hands on the knees, keep the head and heart on level. So inviting time and space here just to find what it is that you like right now. We'll go ahead and give about 5 more breaths into your shape, finding that still place for you to practice. Taking a deep breath in for 5. And full exhale. Deep breath in for 4. Full breath out. Deep breath in for 3. Full breath out. Deep inhale for 2, maybe expanding more of the back lungs. Releasing that whole breath. One more inhale, full of focus, full of concentration. Full exhale. And then as you feel ready with the next breath in, we'll gently rise it up to standing. And I'll just walk back so I can stay in the frame. Good. So rolling up here to standing and fighting a mountain pose today. This is a foundational balance posture. So we want to be able to practice that equanimity of life from solid feet on the ground, both feet grounded. You can also practice this in a chair as well, if you want to bring a chair into the practice. All of the muscles come in to hug the bones. So we're gathering strength and energy into the calf muscles, the shins, the kneecaps lift as the quadriceps engage, maybe tucking the hamstrings in toward the back of the leg bones as well. You can find some energy into the hips, a little lift in the pelvic floor, and the navel comes in toward the spine here. Shoulders can roll back and down, and then lifting up just a little bit more through the crown of the head. I'll show you what it looks like from the side as well. This is a strong pose. Lots of energy. I'll even show you what it looks like. So this is kind of just like normal standing. And building that same strength into the legs, tailbone chunks. This is how I'm building a mountain pose. So finding yourself in this shape, if you need to spread the feet a little bit wider to feel balanced, you can. Testing for yourself where you like to be. And giving it just one breath at a time, maybe 5 more rounds of breath here. Deep breath in. Full breath out. That's 5. Full deep breath in, all the way down to the toes. Exhaling for 4. Finding a peaceful gaze, maybe something soft to look at. Something that's still or not moving. Exhaling for 3. Still keeping all the strength in the body. Inhaling for 2. Full exhale here. Deep breath in for 1. Full release of that breath. Good. In our practice of equanimity and balance, I'm going to offer just a little bit more challenge today. Just shifting gently the weight into the right leg. You can keep the left foot grounded, just maybe practicing a little bit more energy into that right standing leg. Or if you want to fully lift that left foot off the floor, you might just tuck that foot behind you. Maybe taking a few breaths here into standing balance. Nice, deep, full inhale and full exhale. Taking about 3 more breaths here if you'd like it on this first side. You're welcome to, take pauses, come back in, 2 more breaths or so here. Maybe 1 more full breath. And with the last exhale, gently releasing the shape with control. Good. Go ahead. Move through the body, release any tension, anything that's holding on or feeling kind of stuck like it is. Good. And then we'll just go ahead and shift over to that left standing leg as you feel ready. So left leg comes to take the weight. You might leave the whole right foot grounded here and just bear more of that weight into the left side. You might start to rise that foot off, maybe just the toes stay grounded, maybe just one toe stays grounded. If it feels okay to you, you might lift that right foot straight back behind. Find your standing balance through that grounded left leg. Just like in mountain pose, all those muscles are in control, stabilizing and supporting. Maybe finding 3 more breaths or so here. Deep breath in for 3. And full exhale. Deep breath in for 2. Taking breaks if you need it. If you fall out of the balance, just coming back to your own depth, wherever you feel good. One more full breath in. With the exhale, you can gently start to set that foot back down. Come back to standing on both feet. Nice and open. Good. Deep breath in here. We'll take it into a little bit of standing flow. Rising up, maybe lifting the heart. Back bend option here. With an exhale, you can come to fold forward. You can stay halfway. Elbows to knees or all the way down. With an inhale, rise to the halfway lift if you aren't there already. An exhale option to fold back down to a comfortable depth. Rising up with an in-breath all the way to standing. Lifting in the heart. And exhaling hands to center. Good. Deep breath in. Finding your way up. Reaching through the crown of the head. Exhaling to come forward and down. Any amount. Inhaling to rise halfway. Exhaling back into any depth of fold. Inhaling to rise all the way up to standing. And exhaling hands coming to heart center. Good. One more time through. Deep breath in. Lifting through the heart, keeping the spine long, even as we lower down. Doesn't matter where you need to stop. One more breath here. We're rising to halfway lift. Exhaling, you can come to forward fold. You can stay in half lift. And then bending into the knees. Deep breath, rising it up. Exhaling, hands to center. Good. So getting that charge of breath moving through the body. You can extend that practice as well. You can take as many rounds as you feel good about. Giving yourself that breath cycle, allowing it to be a moving meditation. I wanted to keep this video a little bit shorter today, so feel free to pause and create what it is that you need when you need it. Inviting coming back to the ground. I like, for a bound angle pose, or a cobbler's pose, depends on who you follow or what they call it. I like to sit up on a little bit of a blanket or cushion here, so you might find that for yourself as well. Hands might come to the feet, the arches, or the ankles. And then just gently pressing the knees down toward the floor here, using the strength of the body. So we have grounding down, meanwhile keeping the upper body lifted and rising up. And then giving ourselves a few rounds of breath here. Deep inhale for 5. Full exhale for 5. Deep breath in for 4. Full exhale for 4. Deep breath in for 3. Full exhale for 3. And deep breath in for 2. Full exhale for 2. Deep breath in for 1. Full exhale for 1. When you're ready to release that shape, you can even brace the hands on the knees, take them back together, hands can support behind. Maybe just taking those knees side to side a little bit here to help release that stretch. Good. Offering today what we call a supportive rest pose. So coming all the way down to the back, Good. And then I'll try to turn so you can see this. The knees touch together. And then walking the feet out toward the edges of the mat or just out to the sides, more or less in line, kind of with the knees here. So walking the feet out a little bit wide, knees stay touched in together, just gives that internal rotation. So opposing that last stretch by bringing that rotation back in on the hips. Great way to help open up the sacrum, the bone at the back of the pelvis there. And giving yourself a chance to settle in. If you notice that the knees are complaining or unhappy, we're giving ourselves a little bit of a break, and we're going to walk those feet back in a little bit. If you feel comfortable taking in a little bit more depth, you can explore, but just being very sensitive to what the body has to say. Then taking about 5 breaths into this pose as well. Eyes can be closed or the gaze soft. Focusing on the feeling of the breath, hands can even be on the belly as you notice that breath comes in. Inhaling for 5 here, and letting that breath go. Deep inhale for 4, letting that breath go. Deep inhale for 3. Full release of that breath. Deep breath in for 2. Full exhale here. Full breath in for 1. And releasing that breath. Good. As it feels okay to you, you can walk those feet back into the knees, or underneath the knees. Excuse me. We're going to take a little side-to-side action with the legs. Offering here a chance to close this practice with a gentle hug of those knees. You can wrap the arms around, or even just take the hands to those knees and gently give yourself a nice squeeze, maybe a rock side to side. If you want to, you can even draw the forehead up toward those knees, get a nice round spine. Then lengthening, keeping the neck long, gently laying it back down. From here, you can kind of give yourself a final squeeze. You're welcome here to set yourself a timer, maybe give yourself a nice juicy shavasana or a corpse pose, laying the legs out long. Feet can be open, palms facing the sky, giving yourself this soft place for rest. I invite you to take what feels good for you. So choosing for yourself today how you'd like to close this practice. I encourage you not to just get up and run into the rest of your day, but do take some time to kind of stay slow. Maybe go through that guided visualization, each part of the body, letting go gently, like the way we've been doing it in other practices. Maybe set yourself a timer, just give yourself 5, 7, or my favorite, 20 minutes, just to lay and be soft and quiet. Allow yourself to find that contentment in that inner space, to breathe deep and be in peace. Thank you for joining me in this practice. If you have any comments or questions, please feel free to leave them, and we'll see you again soon. Namaste.